Matters in the marriage. Let's talk about it. Matters in the marriage. Let's talk about it. By Dr. Christiana Akede. Let's talk about it. By Dr. Christiana Akede. Let's talk about it. Matters in the marriage. Let's talk.
Good morning, good afternoon. Welcome to 2025 Matters in Marriage. I'm your host, Christiana Akede, also known as CIA. I'm excited to kick off 2025 with you to bring you this special edition of Matters in Marriage. 2025 is an opportunity for a restart, a refresh, rearrange our priorities in our marriage relationship so that we can have a healthy, robust marriage relationship in 2025. Like I always say, marriage is beautiful. Marriage is ordained by God. And because of all the different components that makes marriage, sometimes marriage can be very, very difficult. Sometimes it can be challenging. It can be a source of fulfillment, but at the same time, it requires a lot of work. So today, I'm going to be diving into a topic that is very dear to my heart. I call it a toast to a new beginning. We are at the beginning of 2025, and so it's good for us to start on a very healthy note. But these things don't just happen. We have to start with an intention. Intention for your marriage. My question to you this morning is, we have several months ahead of us. What do you intend to see happen? What do you intend to see being created in your marriage? How do you want to look back at 2025 and be able to say, okay, this is the progress we have made? A new year, for example, the Bible tells us in the book of Genesis chapter 1 verse 14 that God created light. And he created times, he created seasons. Why do we have days and weeks and months and years? We have these tools for us to be able to start or restart. Can you just imagine a situation where we don't have new weeks, we don't have new day, we don't have new year, where all you have is just one straight year just going without breaking with no. God knows that we as human, we will need to restart, to refresh. So for example, we have minutes, we have seconds, we have hours, we have days, we have weeks, we have months, and we have years. So now 2025 is a new year. And I know a lot of people have their new year resolution. Some have resolution to travel. Some resolution, maybe I'm going to do some weight management. Some resolution is, but I want to bring your attention to a relationship that's very, very important in your life. That is your marriage relationship. The Bible tells us also in the book of Genesis chapter 11 that a group of people came together and they said they want to build a tower that's going to reach up to the heavens. They want to see God. And so what happened was, God looked down and he saw the intentions of the people's heart, that they want to embark on a project. Then God said something that's very, very profound. God said, there's nothing that will be impossible for these people to accomplish, because they have set their intention, they have set their mind on what to do. So my question to you this morning is, what are your intentions for 2025 regarding your relationship? Jesus was also speaking in the book of Luke chapter 14. It says it will be an irresponsible builder who will embark on a building project without first of all sitting down and putting a cost on the project. So today, we're going to be talking on intentions. This is a very, very powerful topic. So grab your drink, because we say it's going to be a toast. Look for a cozy spot in your house. Probably it will be very nice if it's you and your partner. If you're in the DMV, the weather is a little bit chilly. We have snow and all of those things. So I would actually recommend that probably you just be on your comforter with the two of you, just listen to this podcast and, gleaning and learning and relearning on some of the things that you can actually do in this year 2025 to have a better relationship. This adage state said, the older the wine, the sweeter it becomes. Amen. And sometimes this may not be your reality yet. Maybe the wine is not yet getting sweeter. But as long as you keep on processing the wine, I tell you, in my own example, after 35 years in marriage, I can tell you that truly that adage is correct. After 35 years, I can tell you that it is getting sweeter. The sweeter, the older the wine, the sweeter it becomes. So stay in your relationship. Things is going to change. And one of the tools that's going to help us to see the progress that we're going to be making is intention. Setting intentions for your marriage. Setting intentions for your marriage. We're going to be looking at in three aspects of it. We're going to be talking about what are intentions. We're going to talk about why is it important to have intention. And also we're going to be looking at some of the intentions that you and your spouse can embark upon as you engage in 2025. I had a story from a friend of mine a couple of years ago. And she said to me, you know what? Myself and my husband, we have a tradition. Every year, we will sit down, we will look at our, marriage. What are the challenges we faced the previous year? What are the obstacles? What are the joys? What are the blessings? And they said to themselves, okay, this year we're going to embark on one common goal. It doesn't mean that individual doesn't have their goals. But as a family, as a relationship, as a couple, they will come up with one goal for the year. And sometimes it could be just building trust together, or maybe communication, how they're going to have fun together. And that will be their major focus for the year. And she said to me they practiced it for about 4 years now. And it has really helped them to make their relationship stronger. It has helped them to diffuse lack of trust in relationship. It has really also helped them to just bond together. So this morning, get your wine, get your tea, whatever you want to share together with your spouse, and let's get started. Even if you are not married yet, if you are if you are newlywed, if you've been in the business for a long time, this is going to really help you. I bet you it's going to really, really help you. There's another adage that says, you keep falling in love many times, always with the same person. Keep falling in love many times. That means there are occasions in your relationship where you may not actually feel like you are in love. And it's normal. Because not every time the bed is going to be full of roses. There are occasions, challenges, heartbreaks, problems is going to, come up in your relationship. But the goal is, as soon as we move past that particular obstacle, we fall in love together again. So, why do we need intentions in our marriage? Number one, let me discuss what is an intention. An intention is a conscious decision or a guiding principle that the two of you share together in your relationship. It is a conscious decision. The key word here is conscious. That is, you are not just allowing life to slip by you anyhow, anytime. And by the way, please, if you are watching, share this broadcast with your friend. invite your family, send it to a colleague, let them join in. And please, you can put in the comment section where you are watching from. There will be time for question and answer. If you want to ask question, there will be time for that too. But let's just continue. Intentions, they are guiding principles or a conscious decision that the two of you make together because you want to create this beautiful relationship. And by the way, if you are a child of God, listen to me. The ingredients you use to bake your cake will determine the outcome of your cake. If your ingredients is according to the world standard, your relationship will be in line with that ingredient. If you are a child of God, you have given your life to Jesus, the Bible gives you the ingredients to use in baking your cake, in making your marriage to work. So today, in this discussion with intentions, I'm going to be speaking to both believers and unbelievers. Because why? Marriage is important. Your marriage is your ministry. Marriage is beyond you. What you have together now, especially when you have children involved in it, what you have together will have a lasting effect on your community, on the nation, in the country, and around the world. If all of us can just come to this knowledge that what I'm creating now is going to have a multi-generational impact, we'll be able to create it better. So, intentions, guiding principles. What about expectation? Expectation is different from intention. Expectation says, what are the outcome I want to see? But intention is the process of getting to that outcome. Okay? What about goals? Is intention and goals together? No. Goals are measured in a specific outcome. Goals are also time-bound. But intention is how you get to that goal. Is how the process of getting to the goal that you want to see in your marriage. However, in a marriage relationship, both goals, both intentions, both expectations are all important. Intention involves the emotions that you pour into this relationship to be able to have a quality, enjoyable, fun relationship with your spouse. So intentions, they are the guiding, underlying tone of what drives your action. Intentions, they are the unspoken tones that guide your actions in your relationship. For example, if you want to make dinner for the family and your goal is, I want to see food on the dining table. The intention is, how do I produce this meal to the extent that I pour love into it? So that as I'm preparing this meal, I'm having fun preparing it. So intention is the driver, is the silent driver of the actions that we take. Remember, intention has to be conscious, because if it's not conscious, you discover that you will be doing things that you really did not plan for the outcome. Sometimes in life, that's what happens. We engage in activities in our relationship, like the way we talk to our spouse, like the way we show up for our spouse, like the way we care for our spouse. We don't intentionally put into it the outcome that we want to see. And so when you come into your living room and you want to express yourself, instead of you to intentionally express yourself calmly, you probably come in with da 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 da, and before you know it, it turns into something else. So Your marriage relationship required intentional action, intentional motive. Be intentional about the outcome that you want to see, and being able to pour yourself into that intention, so that at the end of the day, what you really want to get out of that communication, out of that conversation, is what is achieved. All right. Now let's talk about the elements of intentions in marriage. What are the elements? What are the elements? Number one, your intention must be purpose focused. I say it again. It must be purposeful. You must have a purpose for it. Intentions are about what you want to create together. Whether it's deep trust, whether it's open communication, or just to be able to share joy. There must be purpose. And the purpose must be to bring the two of you together closer. The purpose must be to have a long-lasting relationship. Somebody once said in a podcast, one of our podcasts last year, he said, we always plan for everything prior to marriage, but we don't plan not to derail in the marriage relationship. We just think planning for wedding, planning for the limousine, planning for the gown, for the maids, for all of these things. No. Every day you got to plan to see that your marriage relationship is being successful. Being purposeful in your intention also encourage you to focus on the process rather than the end result. Remember, I did said that intention is the unspoken undertone, words or action or beneath your action. So it encourages us to focus on the process. So the process, I want my spouse to be happy with me. I want to see joy in our home. I want to see us grow together. I want to see us being friends, being intimate. I want to be able to enjoy my relationship. So intention encourages you to shoot for these goals. Number two, intention is about the alignment of values. Alignment of values. Intentions helps you to align your value together. You see, if values are different, we have to find a way of bringing it together. Otherwise, one person will be going north, the other person will be going south. And you know what they say? Two ends never meet, right? You can never make two ends to meet because they are ends. So if values are not aligned together, we might be going in the different directions. And that's what I've seen in talking to some families. I've seen where one of the partner, the value is to be heard. But the other person, I'm hearing you, but I'm just going to respond with one word. Hey, how are you? How's work today? Fine. No. If the intention is to have a healthy conversation, is to say, how are you? How's work today? Good. This happened, because this person want to, this person's value is to have a healthy conversation. So we have to be able to say, this year, our intention is to have good communication. And because of that, we must align our values. Again, intention, we have to be, helps our actions to be with mindful thoughts. Mindful thoughts. So intention means you deliberately, you are not forced, or you don't just say life happens to me, or you just leave it and let life happen. No. Mindful actions will be driven by a person who intentionally is putting stuff into that action, so that at the end of it, what you're going to have is a result of a healthy, robust marriage. You see, intention also help us to see the way we approach challenges. Because, challenges is going to come in your relationship. There will be occasions where you will not be understood. You will not be understood. There are occasions, sometimes it be like you are between the rock and the hard place. But when you have the intention that says, I'm in this marriage and we're in for life, no matter the challenge that's been thrown at us, we will be able to go through it gracefully, and we'll be able to go through it purposefully. So, elements of intention includes purpose, includes alignment of values. This year, what value do you want to, see in your relationship? What are the man's value? What is the woman's value? Can we merge it together? Your value is what is important to you in your marriage, and your marriage to be healthy. I got to know your value, you got to know my value, and we got to put it together so that we can have a good and, a robust relationship. Where values are not communicated, it becomes a challenge. We will go nowhere. No. We got to communicate our values. We got to be able to speak to one another. We got to be able to say this is our goal, and we have the intention of getting there. So why are intentions important for a healthy relationship? Intentions play a very big role. For your relationship to thrive. Why is it? Number one, intentions foster emotional connection. Intention fosters emotional connection. When you are intentional about your spouse's health or well-being or the relationship, what happens? The two of you are on the same page. And because you are on the same page, you are able to connect on a deeper level. On a deeper level. There's no facade. There's no cover-up. There's transparency. I'll be able to pour my heart to you. You'll be able to pour your heart to me. Because we have the same goal of making the relationship work. Somebody once said, I'm in a married relationship, but I feel like I'm alone. I said, that's a very bad place to be. The Bible even tells us, it said two becomes one. It's not one become one. You get what I'm saying? One don't become one in a marriage relationship. It takes two to become one. So, intention helps us to foster emotional connection. You know that your spouse is on the same page as you. And this is done through being kind to one another. You can have a healthy conversation. You can have a hard conversation. But because you have the intention of making your marriage work, you have the intention of making your marriage be what God wants it to be, you choose to be kind to one another. And this is interesting because this morning myself and my husband were sharing, and sometimes we have all this topic that we share and we just talk. And so this morning we were talking about communication in marriage relationship. And I said to him, the first marriage in the Bible faced problem. The first marriage in the Bible had a problem. And the problem was communication. When God spoke to Adam, did Adam communicate to his wife God's instruction? And so, When there is no intention, connection will be difficult. Because intention drives communication. I say again, intention drives communication. Where there is no intention, communication becomes challenging. You have what we call a monologue, where one person is talking and the other person is doing a one-word response. That is a very, very difficult place to be. If that's what's happening in your relationship, you need to invite God into it. Something needs to change. Something needs to happen. There had to be honest conversation. Sometimes to be able to have deep connection with our spouse, we gotta be a good listener. Listening not to provide answer, but listening to understand what your spouse is saying at that moment. Sometimes it could even be unspoken words. Sometimes it could be words. You have to see behind, you have to see the heart of this person that is talking to you. Both partners have to feel emotionally safe and connected, reducing misunderstanding in their relationship. And when you are emotionally connected, it strengthens your intimacy. It strengthens your intimacy. You are connected. You see, I don't know. Sometimes I say to myself, sometimes myself and my husband will just be like, he says something, I say, oh, that's what I'm also thinking. You see, you become aligned even in thought. That means you have become aligned together even in the spirit. You said something, you say, oh, you just said exactly what I wanted to say. Or sometimes the two of you just say the same thing, the same word. You know, it's as a result of connection. So, fostering emotional connection for your 2025 to have a healthy, a robust communication in your relationship, you have to stay connected, and it has to be driven by being intentional. And I always say to people, I say to couples, you can disagree, but please don't disengage, don't disconnect. You can disagree for a moment. You can disagree, but don't disconnect. Don't say, I'm done talking to you and I will never talk to you forever. Honey, you know what's going to happen? Women like to hear men talk. Your wife wants to hear your voice. That's why when you have some men who knows how to talk a lot, you see them having women at their fingertips. Why? Because women, we are hearers. We hear. We want to hear our husband talk to us. You see, what happened in the Garden of Eden? Adam did not talk to the wife. The wife had the voice of the enemy in the garden. When you stop communicating with your spouse, the third voice will come in. So, for you, this year 2025, be intentional in your communication. Sometimes it's not a spoken word. It could be a text message. Hey, honey, I love you. Hey, honey, how's your day going? Hey, honey, how's the traffic on the way? Hey, my dear, what do you want to eat for dinner? You look beautiful today. You get what I'm saying? Those little chit chat here and there. It's important. You have to be intentional about it. You have to be very, very intentional. Oh, my husband is so handsome. You are the best in the world. Yeah. You have to be intentional. Today I'm going to honor my husband by doing that. You know, be intentional. Number 2, intentionality promotes growth and flexibility. Healthy relationships require constant growth and adaptation, Because we are human beings, we are evolving. So what I've seen couple who are married for 30 years and they have refused to grow with their marriage. They still want to be, doing things like when they married 30 years ago. No. Intentionality promotes growth. The moment you are together with your spouse, you got to keep growing. Because human beings, we grow. When growth also requires us to be able to open up, both as individual and as a couple. Setting intentions help us to stay committed to our personal growth and growth as a couple. You gotta adapt. Schedule might change. Job might change. You gotta find a way to adapt to the new setting. This is where I have problem with some people who says, "Oh, my mother this. Oh, my father that." Honey, you are not married to your father. You are not married to your mother. That's number one. Number two, you are not in the days and the era of your father and your mother. This is your own relationship. Thank God you have your father and your mother lived together for 65 years. They were never divorced or something like that. But honey, you are not your father, you are not your mother. Learn from them. The principle you learn from them, put it in practice in your own relationship. You got to grow with your relationship. Intentionality helps us to grow. It does. Number 3 element, reason for intention. It aligns our core values. Amos 3:3 says, "Can two walk together except they are in alignment?" Intention is like a compass that helps you to stay on your core value and what matters to you, what matters in your relationship. Both partners, when they are intentional, they will be on the same page and they will be going in the right direction. If your intention this year is to be financially buoyant, communicate that with your partner, set goals, and let your intention back it up. Okay? Example, you prioritize quality time together. If that's your intention this year, that's why sometimes I always say this to myself. When you see couples who are married 25 years, and I hear one of them say, "You don't know me." Hey! I'm like, how can you be married for 25 years and your partner don't know you? Something is wrong. You don't share quality time together. It means one of you is concealing things in your heart. You are not being transparent. Listen, I told you earlier on, if you use the word ingredient, your result will be like the world. If you use God's ingredient, your result will be a healthy, happy marriage. Bible says in the book of Genesis, they were both naked. That is, they were transparent. Nothing is hidden. I say to couples, you say, "Oh, but you don't know me." If I don't know you, then let me know you. How can I know you? Show yourself to me. I want to know you. Your spouse wants to know you. Maybe spending quality time together will help to reinforce the togetherness and growth. Intentions help us to stay positive. It helps us to take positive action. You don't want to do things that is going to be disruptive to your relationship. So when you are intentional, even when positive and negativity comes in, you can quickly flip it to become positive. Example is, for example, you have a safe space to be able to communicate with your partner without being judged, without being condemned. You get what I'm saying? Intentionality creates an atmosphere that is positive for your relationship. Tough time is going to come. Intentionality provides resilience. You know that no matter what the case is, we're going to go through it together. Some couples, their challenge could be job. Suddenly somebody lost their job in the relationship. Suddenly somebody falls sick. Suddenly something happened. But when you are intentional in your relationship, you know that this is not the end of it. You know that this person is mine. I belong to him. She belongs to me. We're going to go through this together. We are aiming for the same output. We are aiming for the same goal. We are heading to the same direction. That's why intentionality is very, very important. Intentionality strengthens trust in a relationship. The other day I was watching something on Facebook, and the guy said, how can we test let's test couples. Can you do phone swap? Phone swap where I get your phone, you get my phone for 24 hours. Are the text messages or the WhatsApp messages, all the things that's going to be coming in, is this something you're going to be proud of? Is this something you want your spouse to see? Some couples, look, they have biometric security on their phones. They have biometric security on their phone. When you have a biometric security on your phone, honey, it tells me there's something you don't want me to see, something you don't want me to know. You are not being genuine. That's why I don't know you. That's why you don't know me. And in such a relationship, there's no trust. There is no trust. No transparency. And when there is no trust, there is no respect. Oh, my wife doesn't respect me. Yes, because your wife doesn't trust you. Somebody once said, what we want to have now today is a submissive provider in the house. No. God said, man be provider, woman be submissive. The two does not follow one person. Trust. How can I trust you? When your phone rings, you sprint like 100 miles per hour to go quickly grab it because you don't want your spouse to see it. Or you are sleeping, your phone rings. You can't take your phone and run to the closet. Honey, how can I trust you? I can't trust you. Your spouse cannot trust you. So be intentional. Intentionality is going to help you to relinquish all these secrets that you are keeping in your relationship. And let me say again, intentionality strengthens mutual respect and trust. You are open and honest. Agreed. Some of us might have a dirty past. Be open and honest with it. Deal with it and move forward. Just like I'm going to say, whatsoever happened last year, let it be last year. Don't carry the baggage, the argument, the disappointment from last year into this year. It's a new beginning. It's a new year. It's a new opportunity to start again. It's a new opportunity to really put in effort into this precious gift that God has given you. The gift of a partner. Somebody you can share joy with. Somebody that can hold you, hug you. Somebody you can be intimate with. That's why God gave you each other. Be intentional to see that your marriage work. Intentionality strengthens respect and trust. So how do we set intentions? You're going to ask me. Number one, there gotta be a honest conversation, communication. You got to understand the season you are in life, in your marriage relationship. What is this season that we are? What do we need to make this season work for us? Maybe it's on your job, maybe it's your business. Maybe now your business is going to require you traveling. How can you do your business successfully and still have a happy home? You get what I'm saying? There got to be a communication. It's a sit down and talk thing. this year we're going to be focusing on this. Let's focus on this. Let's focus on our intimacy. Let's focus on our communication. Let's focus on our trust. Let's focus on our financial goals. Let's focus on how our marriage, having a honest and open conversation. And be an active listener. Listen. Number 2, how to set your intention. Have a specific but flexible intentions. Set it clear. Let it be achievable. Don't bring a burden on one person and you are exempt yourself from it. No. Adapt to the new environment. It's a new year. Adapt to it. Maybe your wife just had a baby. You got to adapt to it. It's a different season now. It's a different season. Maybe your husband just got a new job that require his time more than before. You got to adapt to it. But you got to sit down and have this conversation and commit to it and be committed to it. Number 3, how to set your intentions. Check your core values together. Check your core values. Check your core values, because we are a reflection of our value. We are. I think this is really important and powerful. You got to have a routine. A routine. I'm not saying minute by minute where you're upon each other's shoulder, or where you begin to use the intention as a hammer on your spouse. Oh, but you said you're going to do this. Oh, but you said you're going to do this. No. No. That's not how it works. We got to be patient with each other. But we know, because intentional is born out of love, that you want your relationship to work. So we cannot use hammer every single time, use a sledgehammer to kill every mosquito that shows up in the relationship. No. Sometimes we got to turn it down. Sometimes you got to just let the mosquito, do it gently, Women, sometimes you got to calm down. Men also. That's the way I talk. Honey, that's not the way you talk. Because when you go to work, you don't shout, you don't scream and yell on your bosses. No. So that's not how you talk. That's not how you talk. Also, setting intentions, we got to make sure that we keep track of our progress. So keeping track of our progress. For example, we said this year, we're going to communicate better. And so, sometimes you can, I like the way you actually handle that conversation, Oh, I appreciate the way you responded to me. That was really soothing. That was really good, And if it's not happening, honey, can we, do it like this? Or this is actually how I want you to respond to me. Because love is about caring for the other person. It's not about you forcing your own will on me. It's you understanding me and giving me, your spouse, what makes sense to me. So keep track of the progress. Don't keep this. Somebody once said, instead of having a wedlock, what we have now is a deadlock. When we begin to be naggy, and we gaslighting each other, that way, no, that relationship is not going to work. No. Don't keep tab on discourse, on the defect, no, we are all work in progress. Nobody is perfect. So be intentional. Be intentional. Allow your spouse to be who God wants them to be, because you can't change anybody. And if you're a believer, this is really, really important. You got to learn to pray for one another, because marriage is hard. Marriage is a work. It's work. Marriage requires someone to be selfless. Marriage is a sacrifice. And if there is anything that we are without Christ, is we are selfish, is we don't want to pay sacrifice for anything. And this is where prayer comes in. You got to consistently lift your spouse up unto God in prayers, that God will bless your spouse, that God will help him to be all that God wants him or her to be, that every pain in him or her heart, that God will take care of it. Actually, you are God's voice, you are God's hands in the life of your partner to bring about the plan of God for your partner's life. Prayer is very important. Prayer is very, very important. You got to pray, constantly inviting God into your marriage. Honey, listen to me. If you don't invite God into your marriage, that person is at the back of your house wanting to come in. That's what happened in Genesis. Genesis told us exactly what happened. The evil man was already there, just looking for the opportunity to come in. So you got to constantly bind the devil from entering into your house through prayers. Pray against strange women. Because right now, I heard something on the news. They say they have what we call work husband and work wife. I don't know what that means. What is work husband and work wife? So to the extent that the scenario I saw, the work wife brings lunch every day to the work husband. And when they finish at work, they also go together for dinner. I said, what is this? The thing is this, before you know it, something will be happening. Don't engage, I'm telling you, in work husband or work wife. Pray for the one you have in your house. Pray for the one you are married to. Always pray that God will help you to be proactive, because intentionality also means being proactive. Deliberately doing act of goodness towards your spouse. Being proactive. So always pray for your marriage. Pray for your husband. Pray for his job. Pray for his health. Pray for your wife. Pray that God will bind the two of you together in a cord that cannot be broken. There's so much pressure. Too much pressure around us. You see how passionate I am? It's because I've seen so many marriages that started very, very well, especially in the church. And at the end of the day, they just couldn't make it. They just couldn't make it. And there's nothing called divorce. Because when a person is already joined to you, you will always be carrying a piece of that person everywhere you go. That's something you need to understand. So invite God. Invite God. Pray over your wife. Pray over your husband. Hold hands together and pray. And I've seen situations where some women says, my husband doesn't like to pray with me. My husband doesn't like to pray with me. I say, okay, then pray for him. And pray for yourself. Because there's power in prayers. When you are honest and open. You get what I'm saying? When you are honest and you are open and you take your case to God, God will see to it that he works on your behalf. Pray for each other's progress. Pray for sanity. Pray for understanding. Pray for knowledge. Pray that good will come to your home. Pray. Pray that God will keep both of you safe. Pray for your children, for your generations to come. Pray. Pray for your relationship. Sometimes some people can be facing some stuff that they don't want to share right away. But as you pray for them, God will give them ease. God will give them relief. So, examples of some of the intentions that you can embark upon as you go through 2025. Number one for the man, be intentional in loving your wife. Listen to me. Your wife is your she. You are he. She is your exact you in she form. In she form, she's you. The Bible made us to understand the book of Ephesians. It says, no man hated his own body. No man hated his own self. So you have to love your wife like you love your body. Your own body. Your body. As long as you have gone to the altar and said, this is my wife, and you put a ring on her, you got to love her. I say it again. If you use God's recipe, your marriage will work. If you use the world recipe, good luck. Good luck. Love your wife and show your wife that you love her. And tell her, I love you. Tell her, I love you. Bible say, love your wife. Not your mother, not your brother, not your sister, not your neighbor, not your colleague. After God in your life, your wife is next. And same goes to the woman. Love your husband. Tell your husband, I love you. Okay, number 2. To the woman. To the woman. The Bible says a wife should respect her own husband. Her own husband. Not any other person's husband. Your own husband must be honored and respected. Now, honor and respect for men is different. It's not the same thing. It's not. I'm going to use myself as an example. I came from a culture where leaning down is a sign of respect and honor. I married somebody who they don't lean in their culture. So if I want to show my respect to him and I'm leaning down, it means nothing to him, although it means something to me. But for me to give him what means honor to him, he has to tell me what it is. And so he told me, honoring my husband is me listening to him. It's me allowing him to hold my hand, which is something I don't normally like to do, to be touched. But now, because I have to honor my husband, I have to release my body for him to be able to touch me. So you got to honor and respect. Ask your man. Ask him. Have that conversation. What does honor looks like to you? Because some people say, oh, a submission. That word submission actually just means respect. Respect your husband. Respect him. You got to respect him. The Bible says he's the head of the home. And sometimes we say, he doesn't behave like the head because he doesn't know what to do. That is why you are there, to support him. That's the reason why you are there. For the head to be a good head, the neck must be strong. The neck must be what? Strong. So you be strong. Respect your husband. That could be something you want to, that could be an intention that for you in 2025. My intention this year is to respect my husband. My intention this year is to love my wife the more. Love your wife could simply just be you listening to her pain. You see her struggling in that area, sit down, brainstorm. How can I make life easy for you? How can I make life easy for you? How can we work this thing out? Have a conversation. Look for resources. Look for tools. Bring in external resources if necessary. Examples of intention. It could be communication. Maybe you want to say 2025, I want to be an active listener. I don't want to gaslight. I don't want to run this marriage on assumption. I don't want to run this marriage with negativity. I want a honest, open, good communication with. Let's have that in our conversation. No yelling and screaming, no calling of names. Having work on the communication. That could be the intention for this year. Communicating well. Have time to laugh. Goof off sometimes. You get what I'm saying? You can say nasty things to each other. You can say loving things to each other. Laugh. Watch movies together. Come into the world of each other. If your spouse, communicate in certain ways, find a way, get resources and tools how to be able to respond, to that particular communication style. Maybe quality time. Maybe that's what you want to be intentionally creating this year. Quality time together. Doesn't have to be expensive. It could be in the house. Spend time together. You can sit down on the couch together and just holding hands and just watch a movie. Just holding hands. You're already connecting like that. Quality time. Quality time. Okay. Faith. Grow your faith. Maybe that's what you want to embark upon this year. What about financial goals? Now, this is big because sometimes finance is another big problem in relationship. The man doesn't know what the woman is earning. The woman doesn't know what the man is earning. Everybody is like tiptoeing on their finances. Everything is kept secret. I don't want her to know how much I'm earning. Why? This is what I say to couples. God forbid anything happen. The person they're going to call right away is not your mother, it's not your father, it's not your friend, it's not your uncle, it's your spouse. So why are you keeping secret? Why? What's your income that is so big, is so special to you than the life of a person that God has given to you? Be honest. Be honest with your finances. Maybe this year you want to plan finances together very well. It brings cooperation. Be intentional. If you live in the Northern America, a lot of us have student loans. So I know I have mine. Then you have your mortgage. Then you have all these bills. You pay for Netflix, you pay for water, you pay for gas, you pay for electricity. Some people who live in apartments where they pay for parking, they pay for parking. Some people, you pay for your, what is it called? Insurance, your vehicle insurance. You have so much bills. But if you are together, you can manage it well. You can manage it well. My husband told me, I think 2 years ago, he said, you know what, God told me this is how we're going to be paying our mortgage. And And I simply said, that's fine, that's okay. As long as I have money to do my own little chin that I want to do, I don't care. So he's managing it, he's doing it, and he's seeing results. You got to be together. There shouldn't be any aspect of your life where it's secret to your spouse. I'm going to do another episode. I call it Not Your Mother's Marriage. God already gave me that topic. I'm going to be talking about it. Not your mother's or your father's marriage. Because you saw how your father used to treat your mother without anything. So you want to do your wife like that? No. Or you see how your mother was treating your father? No. This is not your father, your mother's marriage. This is your marriage. You can set, your intention can be that this year, we're going to pay off all the student loan, and you set out to it. You know you have to curtail your spending. You know you have to be mindful. Be on budget and all of those things. At the end of the day, you can look back and be grateful that you did it together. It could be health and wellness together. I have a couple, I always see them in the gym. These couples, they fascinate me all the time. I'm always fascinated when I see the two of them. In fact, when they started coming to the gym, I see the wife will wipe the machine that the man is going to use, that the two of them going to use. These two people, they just intrigue me. And when they are both working out, they will be talking. Oh my God. They talk and talk from one machine to another machine to another machine. One day I'm going to be hosting them on this podcast. From one machine to another, she will wipe the machine for the man. The man will come. I said, huh? And then, not only that, they are talking. Then sometimes I say to myself, are they not just from the same house? Why is it that they cannot stop talking to each other? And then they will always have machine next to each other. I've never seen one person on one machine this way and the other person on. No. They are always next to each other. Even though everybody's doing their own at their own pace, but they are always talking. I said, what are they? That's a loving type of intimacy and connection I see in these people. One day they're going to be coming to speak. Their health is so important to them. They come to the gym together all the time. It could be an opportunity to go to the gym together, connect together, talk together, work out together, and then you work out together and then you come home, you shower together too. It's part of it. You get what I'm saying? Intentional, being intentional. Other examples of being intentional could be studying the Bible together. You are children of God. Study the Bible together, pray together. Another way you can be intentional is to say, this year, I'm going to be grateful all the time. I'm going to tell my husband that I'm grateful for having him in my life. Showing kindness. Prioritizing time together. Lastly, how about being intentional? Just could be something as simple as, I'm not going to leave the house to go to work without giving my husband or my wife a hug or a kiss. Be intentional. Even if you just finish fighting, and you are stepping out, still say, you know what? I love you. Hug and kisses. It releases tension. So be intentional in your prayer, in your hugs, in everything that you do. Now, you may say to me, what are the hiccups that can come up by being intentional? Lastly, sometimes it can become boring. So you have to find a way to always keep it spicy. You have to find a way to make it enjoyable. And also, it's not about the perfection. It's about the consistency, the commitment to it. Okay, here and there you can miss it. It's okay. You can miss, to call to ask for lunch. It's okay. It's okay. There's nothing bad in that. But be consistent. Show up when you need to show up. Let your partner be able to rely on you. Let your partner be able to count on you. What you have is precious, is beautiful. What you have can last long. It says the older the wine, the sweeter it becomes. What you are facing now is a phase, is a season. That season is going to come to an end. And a new season will come. A new year that we are now. It's a new season. It's a new phase. So be intentional in making your marriage work. As a result, today, I'm going to be having a toast with my husband. Toast to a new beginning for 2025. Yeah. So grab your wine. I don't know what you want to grab. Grab something. Even if I don't want to grab in water. I just want to grab in something that is nice. And you can toast to a new beginning for 2025. Yeah. Here is
from my darling.
Toast to a new and a beautiful beginning 2025. Yes. So toast to a good communication.
This is a good okay.
Toast to long life, sound mind, good health, open communication, more money, good intimacy. So toast to 2025 and toast to good intention.
With Tom and Chris.
With Tom and Chris. Ooh. Love you.
Let's have
yeah. Yeah. That is it for today. It's toast to a new beginning in your relationship. Next month, by the special grace of God, we're gonna be having a very important topic that we're gonna be talking about. So I want you to get yourself ready. Please feel free, email us, inbox us, ask us questions, If you need us to come speak at an event, we are available. By the special grace of God, we've been married for over 35 years or 33 years.
What?
35 years.
Thank you.
All right.
Don't lose no count.
Don't lose no count. All right. So please stay engaged. We love you. Marriage is beautiful. Marriage is God's plan for you. And have a beautiful, beautiful, intentional 2025. God bless you. Bye.